Dreams don't always come true, are easier to hold on to when you have hope, are good things to have. This is a simple story about some community people who dreamed about really helping kids. They raised $550,000 and organized themselves so they could make I Have a Dream happen in Cowlitz County. They investigated local schools and neighborhoods that were struggling. In the fall of 2000, they selected all the fourth graders at Kelso's Wallace School. These were the kids who were going to get extra help so they could hold on to their dreams. Judy Bartholomew was an independent evaluator assigned to get first-hand information about the program.
When you first heard about this program, what was it that made you decide to invest in it?
Well, I think for my husband and myself, it was because we wanted to have or make a difference locally. So many times you give your money to national organizations and you don't see the actual good that your financial contribution brings. I mean, you read about them, but it's not the same as actually seeing it. And the other thing, too, is that we really believe in education, that you have to have education to succeed. So it was very important, and we felt that this was a good use.
I wanted to make a difference and be involved with something locally, and so for me it was local, and it was started with somebody that I cared about and liked the idea.
I think for me it was, you know, I invest in other things around the world with my money, and this gave me an opportunity to do something in the community where I would actually have contact with the people who were benefiting from my contribution. And I just, I believed in helping kids, and so I guess that's why I did it.
How did you become involved as a sponsor?
There were two things I liked. One was the long-term commitment, because we knew right up front that once we started in fourth grade, we weren't going to wave our hands goodbye until they graduated from high school. And also we had some specific goals which revolved around education, community service, responsible behavior, with ways of kind of measuring growth towards full achievement of those goals, and I like that concept also.
The I Have a Dream program covered everything that Altrusa believed in: families, youth, literacy, and we thought that we would really make a difference.
I had been a liaison for the Altrusa Club, which is one of the sponsors. I guess it's basically the only large group sponsor. And as I saw what was going on with the students, the enrichment programs that we were giving them, the extra tutoring, the trips that we were able to give them, I thought this is something that we should be involved in personally.
What do you think there is to be gained for you and the families by this program?
I think they've learned to be part of something where a lot of children and our youth don't have that from their families all the way through. Yeah. But they're a part of something, and they know they are, and I think that's huge.
I think one way that the community benefits is the fact that you have more responsible young people going out into the work world, if you want to call it that, whether it's immediately after high school or whether they get 2 more years of education or 4 more years of education, whatever. That we just need to have each one of these individual kids as educated as much as they have potential for that.
I think there's been some good relationships made between the families and those that are mentoring.
There was electricity in the room the night they told the kids and their families about their promise to support and tutor and even help pay for college after graduation. It was September of the year 2000. For 60-some kids, the dream started. Their single employee, the program coordinator, had an office right in the middle of the school. There were 56 kids who spent a whole year at Wallace beginning in the 4th grade. 9 more were included in the program during 5th and 6th grades by grade school graduation day. When they first started, they had a big job to just get acquainted with the dreamers, their families, their classrooms and their teachers, and the school personnel. They had hoped to line up each dreamer with an individual mentor, but that went very slowly and, in some cases, took years of trust building. The sponsors began meeting with dreamers during lunch hour. Going to Lunch Buddies was quite the deal by 5th grade. Sponsors were allowed to work one-to-one with kids at school, especially on reading and math. The teachers were wonderful. They appreciated the help. More than once, though, the sponsors realized what an enormous task they were undertaking. Just in those first couple of years, there were dreamers whose parents died or went to prison. Many moved around and saw adults come and go in their lives. The program coordinator and the sponsors provided tutoring, food, hugs, and continuity. Many enhancement activities were planned to museums, cultural events, and special events in nearby communities. A regular program of community service projects began in 4th grade. College tours occurred every year. Mentors were trained, fingerprinted, and started to connect. They had their fair share of bumps in the road. It was a constant learning experience operating a privately funded fledgling program in a public school setting. That was really hard for everybody. But they dreamed on with the help of key partners: Kelso School District, St. John Medical Center Foundation, and the Discurin Foundation. Other partners also helped make the dream possible: Opsal Shep and Company, Kelso Rotary, and the members of Altrusa, who invested in the program and often volunteered for special events. Sponsor funds were supplemented by small grants and donations.
Sponsors shared how much they learned along the way, the importance of listening, what unconditional support really means, the depth of emotional hurt and trauma most of the dreamers had experienced, how important a hug can be, how hard it is to live without enough food or clothing or even a home.
I think really one of the greatest gifts of this program has been the building of relationships between non-related adults to kids that are growing up in a pretty chaotic world. Relationships is just the amazing thing about the program, how strong they are, how bonded we are to some of these kids, how amazing it is to them to improve their self-image, to give them a feeling of well-being and worth in the world. It helps them to open their eyes and be able to learn and try new things and dream their dreams. I think it's just wonderful. It's the greatest gift of this program.